How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Radio Tunes podcast. How's it going? I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
And today we have a special guest, actually. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Steven. Steven from Super Video Game Bros, Lost Levels, and Retro City Festival.
Yeah, so our friend here owns two video game stores, these retro gaming stores, and they all look really nice on the inside. You guys should go check them out. But I wanted to talk about Lost Levels because that one's more like an arcade kind of place. And me and Ernie were in there the other day, and we were just admiring how clean the machines are and how well kept that place is. It's probably the best smelling arcade we've ever been to.
Yeah, because back in my day when we would go to arcades, it's usually pretty smelly.
Yeah.
Floors were pretty sticky, and all the joysticks were just horrible.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we really commend you on the fact that you've kept that place really serene.
Yeah, that's a goal of ours. Keep it approachable and clean because nobody likes touching sticky joysticks.
No, yeah, it makes sense.
And and I guess you call us the guest because we're actually recording it out of his nice shop here.
Yeah, we're actually in the store right now.
Yeah, we're at Super Video Game Bros, and if you haven't checked this place out, this place is equally as amazing, big selection.
Yeah, I'll put the directions and stuff in the description. But we just wanted to shoot the shit. Why not? Had a couple questions here. What got you into retro gaming to begin with? I mean, you probably always loved video games, but what made you want to start, collecting and selling and doing all this?
I've always collected ever since I was little.
Uh-huh.
I think what really helped me out when I was little, my mom put me into like a sweepstakes, a raffle at Showbiz Pizza, which we know better as Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Okay.
And I won.
Oh, right. Okay.
Of course. I was like 5 years old. And it was a Toys R Us shopping spree for $2,000.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I got my Atari.
Nice.
That's how I got my Nintendo. And that's how I got some games.
Wow,
and then
nice. That's insane.
amongst other stuff, too.
That's cool.
But I have a feeling that my dad kind of just threw that in there, at
I
the
see,
time.
yeah.
I was like 5.
Yeah.
I did want Nintendo, but the Atari was like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, maybe
Else
he
is free.
wanted that one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I see.
But,
Okay.
But I got into Atari and Nintendo at the same time. I had them both. So I enjoyed both of them. I remember playing Berserk was my favorite games, Defender on Atari, and then obviously Super Mario Bros.
Nice, yeah.
Had the action set.
So you're talking about the 26th, then the first in the line of the Ataris?
Yeah, the 2600.
Yeah.
That's
Nice,
what I got.
okay.
By 1985, it was probably like a cheap console. I could imagine.
Uh-huh.
It was on its way out.
Yeah, I remember seeing like commercials alongside of it. It was like they had the little tune. It was like, oh, $99 for an Atari, great.
Yeah, I'm sure it was something cheap. So my dad just threw it in there and got me addicted. But even at that age, I always felt like I had to keep all the boxes.
That's what I was going to ask you. Were you the kind of kid that kept your toys in boxes and you kept all the
I was
guns
that
and
weird
stuff?
kid that even would cut out the back of that perforated card on the back of like He-Man toys.
Oh, nice. The
and
proof
keep
of
that.
purchase.
Oh, you
Yeah.
serious?
Just that little information card they would have of the Warriors,
Okay, so it makes sense. It came about naturally, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
I see.
And
That was weird because instinctively I would just throw the
boxes
packaging
away.
away.
it just always seemed like a shame to me because the art,
Yeah.
I
I can see that.
And all the boxes I kept, and I still have all of it till this day.
You know what's funny? I remember I kept some of my boxes too, but I remember they ended up not being like I kept Game Boy Advance boxes, and turns out those were like no one gives a shit about these. it's like Genesis. It's like those are easy to keep, and people like those and stuff like that. So,
I guess the more fragile ones are the ones that go like for people want them more just because it's like harder.
Yeah,
find.
like Super Nintendo NES, right, or something like that is like it's kind of rare to find them complete and all that because
My boxes were mint, but they were there.
Yeah.
Above average, if anything. But that's just the love of the retro gaming. That's where it all started, and I played, and I grew up with Super Nintendo, grew up with 64 and PlayStation.
So, what you favor Nintendo? You think, or what's your favorite?
That's tough, man.
A better question I think would be, what's your favorite right now?
Okay,
A PlayStation all the way.
PlayStation.
Yeah,
Okay,
all the way.
yeah, I was gonna say 'cause,
I love Nintendo and I'll always be there for them and always support anything they do, but I play my PlayStation Pro more.
Yeah, I was
than
gonna say
anything
because
else.
Nintendo has made questionable decisions, along the way, and I know they've lost some people, especially in the whole Wii U kind of era.
PS4 feels like the adult console in a way too.
Okay.
There's a lot of like content and serious like games in there, like Last of Us and
Okay,
Destiny
gotcha.
2, and like stuff that's like not so cartoony, which is great to have that.
Uh-huh.
But I wish Nintendo would have just kind of kept up with that.
Yeah.
If they felt like they went another route, which is staying with the kiddies.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, I get that.
I think a lot of that has come from the fact that Nintendo's really not seen themselves as an entertainment console.
Yeah.
PlayStation and Xbox already have their place, like in a person's
What's an
living room.
Xbox?
Yeah.
Well, it's just a PlayStation. It's just like you have it there, and you can throw on Netflix, you can throw on some sort of app. I mean, you go to the PlayStation Store, there's a million games for them to download and stuff. Plus, it has a back catalog already. I can, and the Switch, right now as Nintendo stands, they don't have a lot of apps on there yet. So
No.
Yeah, I was wondering, are they ever going to put Netflix on there? Because
seems like a logical step.
Uh-huh.
Because if this is seriously like, and I don't know if you agree, but if this is like supposed to be a tablet for the kids, essentially, they should put Netflix on there because the kids like to watch their Netflix.
I think they will. They're just slow at like getting to things.
Yeah, I'm like, where's the virtual console, dude? Like,
that should be like a plug and play instantly for them, right? It's like
Yeah.
a programming thing. But it seemed like they want to slowly feed us things because they
And
want to
they
make
just
sure
stretch
they're
out the
always.
life of
it's
it.
a marketing thing, I guess.
I think
huh?
so, just to
Yeah.
kind of like just always like give a nice flow of content continually coming to the console.
I mean, like, how long did it take for Super Nintendo to come onto 3DS? Right? Like, it was.
Yeah.
they had
Really long time. Yeah, no, definitely. I just know that I don't know. It's
It's
like
just
ever
proof
since-
that Nintendo doesn't like money.
I honestly think that sometimes.
I don't know. Like they tried, and you could probably fill in the facts if some of this is wrong, but the disk drive on the 64, like that was full fledged online.
Yeah.
And when they tried that kind of just fell flat on its face, which is why we never saw it.
Yeah, I mean,
And I don't know if they're just like, it'll never work, and then
Yeah.
they just never tried it again, or very much, they didn't want to try it.
yeah, because they didn't even they were gonna do like a broadband adapter for the GameCube or something, right? And then that never happened either.
Yeah.
Well, they did it. It just didn't take off.
Okay,
Like,
it just didn't sell very well.
Didn't
or-
sell very well. It's worth about $80 just for the adapter alone because you
Oh,
do
yeah.
like Mario Kart Double Dash LAN parties,
Yeah, I remember.
which I really want to do, by the way.
that would
Which,
be
by
cool.
the way, I remember hearing about it's on the times like when we were working at G4.
Uh-huh.
I remember that they had something called the Warp Pipe, and
Okay.
it was a LAN server set up specifically for people who wanted to play GameCube online to play Double Dash.
Okay.
And you had to be part of this community, blah, blah, blah. So it was like this really niche crowd that could use that broadband.
Oh, it was just like a website of people.
It was a
or?
website of people that like you could log on together onto this server
Oh.
and play over the
Did you hear
internet.
about
But
that?
like,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
but it was just like so freaking niche. I was like,
Well, it's
Well,
much
I
like
mean, there's
it's kind of
some
like the
people who wanna play
Dreamcast.
it, yeah.
Dreamcast
Yeah.
Online still works because
Oh, it
does
does?
it really?
it dials up Dreamcast to Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
So if I want to play like Quake, and I think there's like a few games on there that work. Like Quake is one of them. I just dials up to play, and if there's somebody out there trying to,
oh, no way!
You'll
I didn't know
connect.
it worked like that.
Yeah.
You can still play Fantasy
So there's
Star
no
online.
server?
there's no server.
I
That's
see.
ingenious.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Well, it's
Oh, that's
Sega
smart.
Dreamcast, man. It's they were ahead of their time, and they're like,
Dude, we
"I'm done."
We
Yeah.
love that system for a long time.
I think the only thing we ever did with the online was we bought like a Chow or something in Sonic Adventure 2 because there was like a shop where you get on there and then you could buy like a custom Chow or something, and that was the only thing I ever did with it. I don't remember doing anything else with it. Like
I took it online a couple times with Frankie.
for
And we did. There was this. I forget what it was. It was like a 4x4 racing game. It was like super realistic, but you could like communicate with people and talk online.
oh, okay, so yeah,
Because he had bought the keyboard, so we were like,
nice.
yeah. But that was it. Like, I know Final Fantasy Star Online was
Yeah.
big for like a minute.
Mhm.
It was
That
good
was
for a
it.
while, yeah.
I think there's private servers for the GameCube one.
For
'Cause
Fantasy
that,
Star?
that goes a lot still, and you have to have it complete with the code inside the GameCube case.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Have you ever seen that
game?
GameCube controller with the keyboard in the middle?
I have seen that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
gigantic
thought that
one.
was fake when I first saw it.
Yeah.
But it was a reality. I was like, no, that's not real.
It's
Come on.
surprisingly comfortable too when you play it.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
That's cool.
it feels like you're playing the Wii. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like the cord in the middle.
Can you put that in the GameCube adapter on Switch and just
I've never tried that, but that'd be interesting to try.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Bring that to like a Smash Bros. Tournament.
Yeah.
You're like,
Just macro the
Yeah.
keys. Jesus, man.
I believe you've already lost.
I got more buttons than you do.
What do you think the best system to collect for right now is? I know. I like me personally. I've always liked PlayStation 1. I feel like there's a lot of cheap games on PlayStation 1 you can pick up and have a good time.
You're absolutely right. That's the console to collect for right now.
Okay, that's cool.
For some reason, people hasn't reached yet.
No, I think people are shunning discs, and there's a bunch of Nintendo fanboys that love cartridges.
Okay,
and they have a point. Cartridges are going to last longer than discs. But they're already kind of bailing out a lot of disc stuff, disc media, just because of the whole disc rot thing. Which I don't think.
Can you go into that?
I don't think that's a problem here in California because we don't have like massive humidity. And of course, if they're abused or to get messed up and scratched, they're just high maintenance.
Okay.
So like the games that are ones that look at for disc rot are mostly in parts like PC Engine, TurboGrafx discs, because they're not really like coded like PlayStation games are.
Okay.
I think PS1 games are meant to last long.
Okay.
Way
about the
longer.
Original black discs?
Yeah, the original black disc for PS1. So disc rot, all that is just like pretty much rot of the disc itself.
And it's really that sensitive?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Well, if you look at like if you buy like CD plus Rs for whatever you bought them for, if you look, they have expiration dates.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
I thought
I didn't know that either.
Pretty,
It's crazy.
But I'm thinking media is an exception. But there is some media that obviously like PC Engine and TurboGrafx and maybe even Sega Saturn, maybe Dreamcast, arguably, they've used a cheaper disc than PlayStation.
I didn't even know this was like a problem. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a problem, but it's more of a panic thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the issue at all myself. I've seen rot before, but that necessarily doesn't mean rot. It can mean like it's just been damaged, like because if you peel off the artwork on top or something happens, then
Okay.
But I've seen a couple that actually were like, that's like almost like snowflaking in a way. That's kind of interesting. So you can't really determine like where is it from, what happened to it. It hasn't been that long yet. But right now, everybody is just not about disc media just because of maintenance of it. So right now, I think PlayStation 1 is pretty cheap to collect for.
Yeah, I see a lot of games on there that are like relatively cheap, and I'm like, I used to play this. I could probably still have a good time with this. Why not?
But also, it was mass produced too. So it could be that it could just never go up.
It's kind of like I think Ernie said this once before. It's like Nintendo had more of like a curated kind of brand that they allowed people to develop for the 64, whereas PlayStation was just like anyone who wants to make a game for us can basically. I'm not sure if that's the case, but
I mean,
no, it was because that seal of approval was pretty big for them for the
time.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
But then like role reversal happened, and PlayStation 2 was more curated about their stuff, and then Nintendo with the Wii was just like everybody develop for it. Circus, carnival games, sure, why not? Like,
and it's funny because most of those crappy games that you used to see like at the checkout stands were like $9.99 or $14.99. Those are the ones that were $200.
Yeah,
because they were in like limited print.
Yeah,
some of the racing games and some stupid like educational games were like $400. No, Wii.
Oh, for Wii.
Yeah, they're starting for whatever reason.
Oh,
like especially remember that game that you really like, Mad Dog McCree?
Yeah, my favorite game of
all of a sudden it's starting to become like this real rarity. And even like some stupid shovelware games, like how Nickelodeon and like all these different
I know what you mean.
Them. There's this one game on like 360, right? It's called Avatar. It's the Avatar cartoon. It's worth so much because like it has a glitch on it where it can give you like I think it's like 500 game credits or something. Not game credits, gamer points.
Oh, like gamer points. It's one of those games.
Yeah,
okay.
and you could just keep farming it out and like.
Oh, really?
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's why it's worth so much.
Because people just fake their point score? Oh my god.
That's weird.
But yeah, like a friend of mine was like, if you can find it, let me borrow it so I can get those. Like
you know what's funny though too is like I've noticed like with like YouTube gamers becoming a thing, it's also becomes like a kind of like a trend that like if AVGN plays something, all of a sudden that game goes up on eBay in price or something like there was this game like there's this game called Wild Woody. I think it's for Saturn or Sega CD. That used to be like worth nothing, but these YouTuber guys played it, and then all of a sudden it became like this $400 game, and it's like it's not worth that, but people all of a sudden want it because of like people that play it. It's just
it's good for Steve.
It's the power. It's the power of the internet, but it stays on the internet. I still am a firm believer of that.
Okay.
Because I've tested the internet. I've tested YouTubers with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and it doesn't pan out physically.
Right.
Maybe like less than 0.5%.
So you're saying like that if it goes for that on eBay, you're still not going to like charge that here, and it probably won't sell here.
It won't sell here.
Yeah. Okay.
Nobody's going to buy that here. It will never sell here. If I put it on eBay, it will sell.
Okay, I see what you mean.
So but I think real life is more realistic, and plus the people that know better that it's worth a certain amount, they do buy it now. They don't do it bids.
Okay,
Because sometimes
that makes
bids will even be half what that is. So
All
it's
right.
like generating like fake hype. Like, you ever hear about the RAM part for Game Boy?
No, I haven't.
There's a guy artificially raising the price of that. Before it was a $2 cartridge.
Okay.
He would just keep buying it up whenever it was like $2 to $5 each. So it came to a point where it's like now it's $15.
Are you talking about the RAM cartridge that like people would use for DS games?
No,
or something?
RAM part for Game Boy.
Okay. Well, what is that exactly?
It's that game with the 3 monsters. Oh no, not the. I'm sorry, the castle one, right? The castle.
It's the castle one.
It's a castle game where the guy's like pointing, and there's like a cannonball coming at him.
So it's like some shitty game.
It's just. Like,
It's a shitty game. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I thought you said Rampage.
No.
And I was picturing the box art wrong.
No, I thought he said a RAM part, like because like I know Sega Saturn had that RAM, that external RAM. That...
Oh no.
We're all talking about
Yeah, and then
things.
like I heard like at one point people were trying to run Doom on DS and they had an extra RAM cartridge that they would put in the GBA slot or
Oh,
something.
that's crazy.
But yeah, I guess we were all having our own conversations.
That was fun.
Speaking of that, how do you determine the prices for different things? Because like I mean, you have a whole business, but these numbers and everything don't seem arbitrary at all.
No, it's just been years of experience. Yeah, we dabble and see what things go for online because there is trends, but sometimes there's a lot of BS trends.
Right.
And if I go off of that, things won't sell.
Yeah.
You know,
Like fake hype, like what you're saying.
it is fake. There's a lot of fake hype.
I get you.
A lot of the YouTubers and a lot of that internet thing is kind of messed up a lot of factions of the collecting scene.
Okay.
If anything, it's probably raised up a lot of it. And a lot of it's just like, why are we spending so much money on a game that you're never going to play?
Right.
It just became something it's by any means, it's not rare. They printed out thousands.
Yeah.
Like Little Samsons is not rare.
That's you know that's definitely one of
All
those
the
games.
games are like little Sims.
It might be rare to like some people, and I guess what is determined rare. But if you want to call that rare in versus of like Mario Duck Hunt cartridges, okay, yeah, you know. But I think of rare more like
You think the value of it?
100 or less items made.
Yeah.
I don't think media should ever have the rare tag because it's made to print out thousands to sell to make these companies money to survive.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, I don't know how that all works, but I don't really necessarily agree with it.
You know what?
The whole word Grail, however, is fine with me because that could be your Grail. Like Paperboy on the NES could be like Ness's Grail because he could say like, "Hey, look, I've wanted this as a kid, never could get it. Now I'm an adult. Now I'm got it."
Like
I
a
love
holy
this.
grail of games, you mean, or something, or what?
Well, no, this is a Grail, a holy Grail, right?
Okay,
but like,
yeah.
like
For the individual.
for the individual.
I
So
see.
That I'm okay with, but you know, you have to like really pick and choose how you use these words.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I remember for a while mine was a Chrono Trigger. I was really trying hard to get that one complete. That was actually the first game I bought from you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like I want to say it was like 10 years ago or something at this point.
How much did you buy for a complete?
Don't start
No,
that.
it was just-
Like,
yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was actually just the lone cartridge, $20. I was like, I want that.
Yeah.
I was like, that is like the lowest I've ever seen it. I want that.
It's like
Yeah,
100.
because I think at the time, and I'm pretty sure I have this like picture because my first days at Frankenstein's and everything with Steve, I remember really really well because I would always see the game and I would see the box complete, and it would say like instruction manual included.
Yeah.
That was like 60 out the gate, and then you saw the $20 one, and you're like, I'll take that one.
Yeah. No, like, yeah, that game is one of the games that went up considerably. That game in box goes for like $200, $300 now, right? Or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
I mean, it's just and with those games, like the battery replacement sometimes becomes an issue.
It's easy. I've learned how to repair all that stuff. It's just literally a battery with tags on it, and you resolder it on, and you're set.
Resolder. It's
yeah.
not just because I've seen some that are just like it's literally a clip that holds.
Yeah,
it.
that's something that some people have done, but I don't agree to it because it could just fall out
Right.
and you lose all your memory. I rather
Yeah.
solder it on like the factory did it because they intended it to be that way for a reason.
You know what's funny? I had a Saturn that I would always replace that battery in the back, and it would never save. It would. So I don't know if the part was fried or something, but
You might just had like a cold solder joint for
Okay.
the bracket of the thing.
yeah.
Reflow cutter probably could have fixed that.
Well, I mean, among other things, I didn't play my Saturn. You know, like
Yeah.
it was just not like
Yeah.
that. Saturn was one of those consoles that made me really sad because I always wanted to collect for it, but every fucking game for that console was like $60 like minimum. At least when I was collecting, because I want a decent game for this thing. I want Earthworm Jim, and it's like, no, you're not gonna get that. It's like
Plus
a
there's
$60 game.
Plus, well, because there's a lot of titles that I've heard that are quoted as the best version of blank game is best on Sega Saturn.
Yeah, like a 3D Blast. I mean, I don't know how good that game is, but
for a while, everybody was like, for a minute, people were saying like Alpha. I think they said.
Oh yeah, Alpha 2 doesn't pause when it says fight like the Super Nintendo one. You know, it actually.
So there's like, oh, that's the best version, blah blah blah, and it was always like that. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, that had a very short lifespan. The Sega Saturn.
Oh, I would imagine.
In America.
Yeah.
But Japan, it was king.
Really?
No, well, yeah, but like.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing it in Shenmue,
games.
and that was it. That's cool.
But over there, right?
Yeah.
Was that the system that they said like they just stopped printing the last game for it like in a couple of years ago or something, or is that something else? Am I thinking of like Dreamcast?
I kind of remember that.
I don't know.
Was that PS2 maybe?
Oh, it may have been PS2 because I know PS2 is probably still pretty strong over there.
Well, I know the Nintendo's like the Nintendo, and maybe this is what you heard. They stopped. What is it like Nintendo of America and Japan stopped taking like Nintendo Entertainment Systems.
Oh, for repairs?
For repairs.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I think 5 or 6 years ago, they officially stopped. They're like, we're not servicing this system anymore.
Because
maybe that's what you heard.
They said people stopped calling like 20 years ago, so we decided to just stop. That's cool, though.
No, but you know that brings up a good point. Like you have obviously you have a lot of systems here and everything, and people trade things in. What's the maintenance on a system look like? Like, are you spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to like repair all these little things, or is it kind of more just knowledge of the system to be able to just fix this one thing and you can bring something back to life?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of costs. You have to load up on a lot of parts to fix these consoles, but it's worth it. It feels worth it to me.
Right.
Plus, you get it at a better rate when it's not working. So if it's something I could fix, I'll usually take upon it and I'll work it out. But it's kind of like a service, if you will. Like, it's kind of nice when you like repair something and bring it back from the dead.
Yeah.
But this guy would probably just throw it away in the trash if I didn't buy it.
No, yeah, probably very satisfying to know that you made use of something that was otherwise trash to somebody else.
And somebody else is going to love and cherish and use and play. So
I mean, when did you
it's
start?
worth it financially and emotionally, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, no, but like, when did you start being able to do this? Because I mean, when I was a kid, and this is more me and you than Steve, but like it was when we were growing up, I didn't have like the internet to try and fix something.
Mm-hmm.
And like those screws on the back of NES cartridges and everything, or specifically
Nintendo.
the Super Nintendo ones too. I was like, what kind of screw is this? Like, did you start to learn that stuff at a young age, or did you kind of, along with the business, it started developing?
I think a lot of attributes I learned growing up helped me learn to restore things. When I was like 15 and a half, I spent all my money, like $1,400, to buy a 67 Camaro.
Uh-huh.
And if I was going to drive to high school, I would have to fix that, right?
Right, okay.
So, I mean...
Wait, it wasn't working when you bought it?
It wasn't safe to drive, man. Like, it probably was in some aspects, but the brakes weren't right, it's just you're breaking down. So I did a lot of work to it. I rebuilt the whole engine. I did everything. Put disc brakes on it. I restored the whole thing frame up. And I was able, obviously able to drive it after a couple of years. But I've always liked tinkering with things and like fixing things ever since then.
Okay.
And I would say that like helped me a lot with confidence and through college and stuff too. It's like, oh, if I just like want to do something, and I have a goal, or if I just dig into it, I could do it. So it kind of helped me out. And then it came with the restoring this stuff. It became a necessity for me. And it's like, I'm not going to be able to sell Nintendos if somebody just sells me one and I can just throw it back out. I got to open it up, fix it. And it just started with the Nintendo. Then it came with other consoles like, oh, this is not powering on. It's a fuse. So that came with a lot of things. I'm tinkering with these guys, arcades. That's another issue too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was going to ask
a whole other
about
beast,
this now,
right?
because along with all these like systems and everything that most of the consumers, like the general public, does, you also dabble in arcade machines and pinball machines too. I mean, how do you get into collecting those? You just start, hey, that systems are like, oh, let's pick that up. Like, how do you get into that?
Years ago, I started just picking them up because they were really cheap.
Off the streets.
And I always dreamed as a kid, everybody has this dream, to have our own arcade.
Yeah, why not?
So I started, if I want my own arcade, I always like relying on myself. Since if something breaks, I can fix it because it's cost effective.
Makes sense.
So I started like just tinkering with stuff, and just like I would say like not too long ago, like in 2010, as I recapped my first chassis on a monitor. This is it, actually. This upgrade. So it's special to me. That's why it's here. So it's like, that's why it's...
For those of you who can't see, it's a fully restored Castlevania machine.
It's a very nice looking one,
It's
too.
a very nice looking one.
So like the monitor's all bright. So I've learned slowly but surely. But now it's like, if you just grow faster, you just kind of like have to keep up in order to make the business, operate at the standards I want. So it just becomes a necessity of things. If the passion's there, I love what I'm doing, we learn how to fix it. And when I was restoring my Camaro, there was no internet back then either.
Yeah.
I would find out at these car shows, like, there was a tool for that? You know? I was like, that would have made my life easier, you know?
It's like, that's why I was so impressed with you building it from the ground up, because myself, I don't consider myself a mechanic. I know very little about my car other than how to maintain it. But a friend I had growing up, Frankie, he had an old Roadrunner.
Mm-hmm.
He almost fully restored that. He had a CRX and he was building that too. And I remember when we would go to fix it, he'd bust out this old looking book and be like, "Here's in the book it says to do this." And you had to buy the specific book for the specific car for the specific year.
It makes
sense. Had wiring diagrams in there. That's got all the part numbers.
Like that's why it was so trippy. I was like, you use this as a reference, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And like taking a look at that and then comparing it to these arcade machines, I mean, there's no book for that, right?
Yeah.
There's schematics for them, which you have to find. But the good thing, there's internet now. Yeah. So it's I don't have the schematics. I look online.
Like not even 10 years ago, could you find this kind of stuff on?
What's funny too is like because the first time I ever opened a game or something, I had the internet at my disposal and. There's like this little trick if you don't have a Nintendo screwdriver or like a Sega Genesis like Star screwdriver. Yeah, you can melt a pen tip and kind of just jam it in there and it'll mold to the shape of the screw.
Oh my god.
And then you can use that. Yeah. And I had done that a couple times because it's like I don't have these fucking screwdrivers and I don't want to go to the store with like a cartridge and fit every one, so
it's funny because I bought that screwdriver to do that. Because remember when we replaced the backing of my Star Fox cartridge?
Yeah, that's right.
I bought it from you. That special screw to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sell them now. The turtle
they
stuff.
started like reproducing those, right? Those screwdrivers, the Nintendo ones. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I see you got like this whole side business about like repair parts. Even. How big is that now?
It's not too big yet, but I already have enough where I made enough parts to just put on the market. I do see people enjoy it and take advantage of it.
It is cool.
But it's going to be something that people are going to start noticing, so it's good that I jumped out early on that.
Yeah, so Steve has like this wall of basically restoration tools for like retro games. So for example, he has a face of a Game Boy, like an original Game Boy, because those used to peel off and stuff. I actually immediately noticed that and I was like, wow, I have a Game Boy at home that doesn't have one of these. So it's like, it's perfect. I would use something like this. That's really cool though, especially the Nintendo 64, the expansion pack caps, because everyone fucking loses those things. Like
all the different colors.
Yeah, it's almost like the way I see it going. It's almost becoming like its own hobby to be able to repair not only just old systems and everything, but old technology and getting it to work.
Yeah, DIY is like part of it right now. Like for the people that are like at that next level, not many people are. The pride of ownership of owning these things is to know how to fix it. So it'll start coming as things start getting older.
Yeah, like my brother here knows how to solder, and even just learning that, but even just learning that brought to another level of being able to like take a look at one of the systems and be like, okay, I can fix this, so I can kind of bring this back to life. So that's great.
Yeah, you know what actually was? It started out with arcade sticks. Because I remember, so Mad Catz had started making these arcade sticks when Street Fighter 4 came out, and they were notorious for having like these problems. So eventually I just started opening up the sticks and seeing what was wrong with it, and for the most part, I know how they work. It's actually really simple. Like for those things, it's just you just plug and play for the most part. But yeah, it's like you said, a lot of DIY is just coming into with the age of the internet. People can just basically learn things themselves like way easier than it was.
The only reason I was it kind of strikes me is because like me and Steven recently went to this old hobbies store that was closing down. It was like these train sets and everything.
That was the most depressing place I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah. It really was, but the point is that like I see the same passion for doing that in like these little like retro
you're
projects.
Right. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like people are putting like they're restoring their Game Boys, right? So that like they have rechargeable battery packs that last a lot longer. So that they can put like these like these emulated cartridges in them, so they can play whatever they want on them, and just like restoring all these old. Like, there's no reason to do that other than I just want to be able to do that with this whole piece.
You're
of
saying it's like these people that used to build trains, and like
it's
things
becoming
like...
its own like subculture and hobby.
Yeah,
it's not just like a collector's thing. Now it's a hobby. It's like,
it's a
look
community.
what I did.
Yeah,
it's a large community.
I remember one of the mods that I really wanted to try, but it was so complicated. Was people know how to basically add a backlight to a Neo Geo Pocket, because I love Neo Geo Pocket, but it's like you can't fucking see that thing if you don't have sunlight. So people like have all these like instruction stuff on how to put a backlight in there, and it's like insane. I'm not gonna do that, but it's there if people want to do it, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
What about newer games? Do you play anything new? Anything recent? You said you play a lot of PS4, so.
Right now, I've just played. I'm playing Zodiac Age, Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
It came out as a remake. One of my favorite games on PS2, but I like playing it on PS4 because the graphics and just the upgrade on everything is pretty awesome.
Okay.
Plus, I love the story.
I've actually never even
Plus
heard of that game.
wireless.
Oh yeah, wireless too as well.
Yeah.
I saw you had a PlayStation 2 wireless controller.
Yeah.
Over there, and I think back to those days when I was like, you had to be like wired into the controller.
I personally always prefer a wire just because I don't have to deal with batteries. But
yeah, but I love the freedom of being able to sit as far back as I want.
Yeah.
And just like.
Or TVs have gotten bigger, so.
Yeah, we gotta
sit back. But I'm really looking forward to Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
When that comes out. So.
Cool. Yeah. I was telling Ernie the other day that like that game is definitely the developers definitely know where they messed up in the first one, and they're trying to make amends with this new one. They're.
I still can't get over the fact that it's 3 people on a squad. I don't get that.
What do you mean? I've actually never played it, so I wouldn't know.
So at least Destiny 1, I know this for a fact, when you team up in a group, only 3 people can join up.
Okay.
And you like take off and do your missions and blah blah blah. Destiny 2 is the same thing.
Oh, okay.
And I don't understand why.
It's hard to get a lot of people involved.
Really?
Yes, for a raid, it's hard for us to always get 6.
Oh, okay.
For the raid, I always found an issue that we're always one short. But like for like Nightfall or anything else we want to do, it's easy to pick up 2 people.
Okay.
So that's pretty much where it's at. That 4th person, I could see it being like, oh man, we need one more person. Yeah. Because it's kind of hard finding that like 3rd person. Because a lot of the stuff that's 3-player, we just 2-man it sometimes too.
Okay.
So,
because anytime we go online to play like Call of Duty or any of these like squad-based games, I always have 4 people.
Yeah.
Play.
Okay.
So I always thought 4 always felt like standard.
Yeah.
But well, I played the crap out of Destiny until I think the DLC came out. That's kind of where I fell off.
Okay.
But I'm excited to start it again because I think my squadron got a little smaller, so 3 might actually fit now.
What about anything else you're looking forward to, or?
Destiny 2.
Okay, Destiny 2 DLC as well.
Honestly, that game is just going to be like the only disc in my system for a very long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll probably get to like, I think the Uncharted, that DLC thing comes out soon in a couple weeks. I'll get to that later.
That's going to be a hard copy though too, isn't it?
It is.
That's crazy. It's going to be
DLC. That's going to be a hard copy.
Well, I don't know if it's DLC. It might just be its own.
It's its own standalone game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lost Legacy.
DLC standalone.
Yeah.
Own disc. That's kind of crazy.
So you enjoy cinematic games then? Because you said you like Last of Us as well. So
yeah,
like
you can say that, but yeah, I just like games I can enjoy. I guess.
You just immerse yourself in the world and stuff. Okay, that makes sense.
Let's see. I loved it's not Heavy Rain, but it's the same makers. Or Until Dawn.
Yeah.
I actually didn't make that, but I loved Until Dawn. Beyond Two Souls is awesome too, but Until Dawn is amazing. If you ever played that, that's really cool. I love that game.
You're talking about another David Cage game, because I know he made Heavy Rain.
No, he didn't make Until Dawn. Sony made that.
I'm sorry. I meant he'd made Beyond Two Souls, right? And then he's gonna make that new one.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one doesn't look too good.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? It's like
It looks the cinematic. When I was watching the cinematic at E3, I was like, "This isn't a cinematic. This is the game." And I was like, "Is it really this?"
Yeah.
It's like, this is Run Lola Run the game.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's like a real ass actor. That's like he's on a TV show and stuff. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing in a video game? What was I gonna say? His games are kind of like, I'm not gonna say they're good, but I play them because they're just so fucking ridiculous. Like the first game that I know of that he made was Indigo Prophecy, right, or Fahrenheit in other countries or something.
Different names for different regions.
Yeah, that game starts off like pretty normal, and then it just gets so fucking stupid. But I love it because of that. It just gets like the ending of that game. If you could just YouTube the end of that game, it's just
Steve,
nonsense.
I think by this point in the podcast, if anybody's been listening, they know your taste.
Exactly.
And that game would fit
there you
right
go.
in.
Yeah, it just fits in right with Mad Dog McCree and all the other games that I like.
Games you like to laugh at.
I was going to mention of this games that Steve is looking forward to. He's wearing that Kojima shirt.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, are you looking forward to that one?
Death Stranding.
Yeah. Like, it's really nuts looking, man. Like, I've only seen the 2 trailers, right? The one with the baby, and then the one where the sewer happens, and then the guy bleeds like black. I mean, what do you make of all that?
You know what? Whatever Kojima makes, I'll play it.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do no. I don't think you can do no wrong in my eyes. Like, I played Phantom Pain. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I liked
despite what people thought, I loved it. It was
Castlevania.
Castlevania.
It wasn't all him though, right?
If you can't see him, he's shrugging.
He's not. Yeah, I shrugged. It's not all Kojima though.
Right.
But if PT would have came out, that would have been something.
Yeah, that was.
And I kind of want to say he's kind of moving towards that PT,
like the
thing.
horror kind of.
Yeah,
genre.
like a little like psychological like video games, you know.
I wonder if he'll try and incorporate like VR and stuff because.
I hope not.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is about VR. I don't really know where to stand with it
not
because
ready yet.
Because like people like really say that Resident Evil is like the perfect game to sell that thing.
It is.
I'm shaking my head,
but it's not because you look at Resident Evil, you play it with just a controller. It's beautiful, right? You put it on, it's like a PS1 game. It's all blurry.
The frame rate has to be really high, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, they have to sacrifice graphics.
Right. Yeah.
So I see a lot of games that are like, okay, you put the headset on, and all of a sudden everything is blurry, and the textures look like fucking.
It's just not ready yet.
Yeah.
I think if it looked like crisp, it'd be fucking awesome, you know. Yeah. But it's not ready yet.
It's not just that. It's just like I had a very introductory look into that, and it's great that you can look around. It's great that you can shoot and do all this stuff. And like my company, I work for EDGA, and I'm working for Thermaltake, and they've done VR samples and everything. So I've gotten a pretty good look at it, and I don't know how you form a real game around it. Like what I see right now is like any shovelware that you got for the Wii.
Yeah,
that's what I see right now.
It's kind of like it is kind of like that. It's funny that you compare it to that because I feel like the Wii, it's like certain games that were made for it really do sell it in every aspect, and like VR, I'm not sure if there's been a game that's doing that yet.
Right, and it's just like I don't like it. Definitely is a medium. But right now, it seems like every game, all it does is, well, you can look around you and shoot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but how do you form a whole full-fledged game around that? Like, how do you tell a story with it?
Yeah, and then a lot of games have like, oh, instead of moving, you shoot over here and you jump to like another point, and
it feels like, and you know, let me know if you agree. Like, the perfect example is that like Star Wars Connect was supposed to make you feel like you're in this game, right? And I know it's funny to look at it now, but it was like you hold the lightsaber and you move through this level, and you're supposed to feel like you're actually doing stuff. But all it feels like is like you move to one section and you play around, you move to another section, you play around.
Yeah,
it feels like you're being led around, you know? Like the whole thing about
it's on rails
and VR is like you're supposed to be able to like explore.
Yeah.
Right? But you can't really do that because as far as we've pushed VR, it's not like you can physically walk around.
Yeah, that's what it's lacking.
Yeah,
because like I found myself doing like this, like turned at an angle.
Yeah,
you know, and walking awkwardly in VR Resident Evil, and I had to constantly keep resetting the centering, the camera.
That sounds a lot like the Wii. Actually,
exactly. It just feels like really new technology.
It is. I mean, I enjoyed some of the tech demos, like the Shark Tank, and
I heard the what was it? The
Rush of Blood was fun.
I heard the Batman one was not bad.
That one was terrible.
Really?
You were just in the Batcave.
Oh man.
You're just looking around.
Yeah, you're like, I'm Batman, cool, you know. But Rush of Blood was cool. But you were in, like Ernie was saying, you're in a freaking cart, like a train. So it's like on rails.
Okay.
But it was still cool concept. But it's like every game I have to be on rails.
You know what's funny though? It's like you said that Shark Tank thing or whatever. That makes total sense. It's like it's kind of how it feels when you're in VR. It's like you're in this place that you can't move. You know.
But that's the thing. It's just like with every video game you've ever played, if there's a point at which you're not allowed to go past, the first thing you think is like, how do I get past this?
Yeah.
You know, it's like whenever you saw like borders up anywhere, like in Mario 64 even, you try to like jump past it just because you wanted to. That's what VR is missing. It feels like you're in this little cage and you can't get past it.
Yeah.
And it's the problem. I'm sure, like, and I'm not saying that it can't happen, because I've seen concepts for like this one thing for VR is like they program in a maze, right? Like a big room that has a maze in it, and they program that into your headset.
Okay.
So, and then it coats every wall in a certain way, so you can actually play like it's a company that's developed it. You can play laser tag, and then you can change the setting however you want, and like in your hand you'll have it like in the headset you'll have like a gun and blah blah. You'll be able to change it.
That
cool. Sounds great, but like how much energy is going to be used for that? Like you got to get people to physically be there. You got to buy all these expensive headsets. You got to program this thing. It's just like,
you know what's funny? It's like I don't know if it was real or not, but I remember a while back I saw some kind of like, because people are always like they're always searching for Nintendo schematics or patents that they file and stuff. They had found something that was like basically like a VR dock. Where you put the Switch screen in and you take the handles off, like the controllers off, and then it's a VR headset. I don't know if that was
so kind of like that Samsung one where you put your phone in.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure if that's real or not, but I was like, that.
Have you seen the VR Mario Kart in Japan?
No, is that real?
Oh my god, it's awesome.
Okay.
Wait, explain it.
So they're already Nintendo already knows.
Well,
about
Nintendo's
VR.
awesome at doing like arcade things over there in Japan,
right?
And so they have this thing where you're driving Mario Kart in Tokyo, and you have the headset. You have the shell and everything. You can throw it. You have it in your hand, but I don't know how they actually control it. And I don't know how that works. I just seen a video of a guy like driving in real life.
So it's like
That's
real
really
Tokyo, not cartoonized or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't cartoonized. I think it might have just been a tech demo, but they were sampling it.
That's cool.
Like, Japan is an awesome VR right now. They had one where you're like walking on a stick, and it feels like you're like high up.
That's scary. I'm not gonna do that. Fuck that.
Like the craziest thing I ever saw was a tech demo a couple of years back. Somebody was doing it. It was called the Omni treadmill or something.
Okay.
And it was like you wore these things on your feet, and you were in kind of like a bowl, and you would walk.
I saw that E3, right?
Yeah, it was I think 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was showing like, oh, you could put the VR headset, and then you could walk wherever you wanted, and this thing holds you in place. I was like, yeah, but who's gonna buy that?
That's
and put
tiring.
That in their house,
Yeah.
you know? And I don't want to walk.
Yeah.
What VR needs to do is just incorporate only the controller. We're not ready for the other crap, for gloves and grabbing. If you just give us a controller with we could do all the commands we could do, like on a first-person shooter, and give us that headset, and we can look around and incorporate that, it'd be kind of cool.
Well,
you know?
It would be nice if like they could just do older games then.
Yeah.
Because everyone's saying like the graphics are the downfall.
Because your head and your hands are always moving differently, you know?
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to like see and shoot, and you shoot there where you're looking, you know what I mean? Just there's ways of like using just a controller right now, because like right now it's just like we're sitting down and it's like, you know, it's like, okay.
We're really lazy gamers. That's what it is.
Do you think Nintendo will ever do something like VR with the Switch, or they shouldn't?
They should waste their energies of remaking all the GameCube games in HD.
Yeah.
I think they have a long way to go for online, because
that's actually the rumor too. Is like Virtual Console's supposed to have GameCube, and that's supposed to be like big news or something. Like,
I hope so, because like they just need to pump all they got into this system,
because they have the GameCube adapter, and all they need to do is make it work with the Switch, and then
but like there's a lot of things about the Switch that I just wish it was better. Like the online, I wish was better. Like I wish it was easier to like jump into a game and jump out, do your friends thing a lot faster.
The whole friend code thing, come on.
Yeah, it's weird. And then
I can't believe they're still doing that.
I can't talk to anybody on there.
That's the other thing. It's just like there isn't like it was on a different podcast. We were talking about Splatoon, and it was like there is a way to do the headset thing so you can talk to people, but that's so complicated.
Yeah.
And if you're
it's
really
an app, isn't it?
Yeah, you have to connect it to your phone and stuff. But it's like you have to do all that, and you want kids to play this. Like essentially, this is like nobody says that Nintendo's only for kids, but it's definitely more welcoming to
akin to a child.
You can't expect a kid to do all that just to talk to his friends online.
Mm-hmm.
If they do put GameCube on like Virtual Console, what's something you would want to see on GameCube besides
Mario
Smash
Party? All the Mario parties on GameCube, but multiplayer online.
That would be cool. Jeez, like we could. There's a whole fucking subject right there. Is like they fucked up Mario Party so bad with these latest ones.
Yes,
like
they did.
I just don't understand what they were doing.
In the trash, then start over with the good 11.
Jeez.
We'll forgive them.
Yeah. I just don't understand that.
One game that I only played for a little bit, and then I was like, I've never gone back to play it, even though I really dug it, was that weird... I don't remember who did it, but it was Eternal Darkness on the GameCube.
Right.
Is that weird game, like, where if you had a sanity meter.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, have you played this?
Yeah.
The sanity meter thing was so crazy, like it would melt the walls. The less
like
sanity meter you had...
It's like Amnesia, right? Amnesia has like the same thing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's just, it got so trippy once you started to lose your mind. It was such a psychological game.
That's cool.
I was like, this does not belong in the GameCube. It just didn't feel like a GameCube game, but it was on there. It was just such a standout.
I would love to play Luigi's Mansion again, even though a lot of people don't really like that game.
Dark of the Moon is essentially...
Nah, it's not the same thing. I don't think so. I'm more nostalgic to the first one, and just that cutscene of Luigi's hand grabbing the doorknob. I remember seeing that in like commercials and stuff, and I was like, "That's real life. That's like that is fucking real. I want that." Plumber. Yeah. That was back more when like Nintendo was selling graphics. You know, like the fucking GameCube has ATI right on the front of it. You know, it's like they wanted you to know there's graphics in this thing. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that Nintendo's done its own thing from then, because they obviously can't. They're obviously not going to build a PC and put it in your in your room or whatever. But what they can do is just offer their own brand of entertainment. Yeah, that's their strength. It really is.
There's a little hope in me that sometimes I think Nintendo still has NX out there and Switch is their new handheld, and they're going to announce this. Oh, this is console NX. And it's all souped up, and it's like
like the best thing ever.
Right.
You know, and this is a perspective of mine that I've just seen just from because I've been working in the PC era for so long. It's just like PC and console things. They're just never going to be. There's never going to be a median ground for that, because the PC experience is so like customizable. That either you do that or you can just do a console, which everything's kind of made for you, right? So I don't know. I think that there's a limitation for consoles in how strong they can become, because even the one that's coming out at the end of this year and the PlayStation Pro, like by that point there's gonna be a PC that's like 3 times as strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know. But you sacrifice that for the convenience of being able to just go, hey, look. Starting to play a game, push start, let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
PC's for homework.
Yeah. I think it's weird that like Nintendo Switch is around like while 3DS is out. I have no idea what they're planning to do. Like I was telling Ernie before too, or like on other podcasts, that like the Switch replaced the 3DS for me. Like I take the Switch with me. I leave my 3DS at home now. I don't understand like.
Why are they still supporting it?
Yeah, because like they're putting Return of Samus is coming out on 3DS. I'm like, okay, so they're still supporting this thing. They still want me to buy games for this thing,
because
but
it still sells. I think is the answer.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kids, if a kid can't afford like a $300,
and honestly, I think it still sells consoles. Because I think once they come out with that, you see the new Samus one they announced?
Dude, that thing looks awesome.
Yeah. So the one that has her like pointing her gun on it or something.
They just sell consoles with it.
Yeah,
it's
I guess
a console
that's
selling
true.
game. I might get it again. Come on.
I have seen a lot of
remake. It's pretty cool.
I know that Pikachu one was really popular. The Pikachu 3DS that came out.
Oh yeah. Dude,
anything Pokemon, I guess. So,
so they know what they're doing.
I think Pokemon is going to remain on the 3DS anyways. It's just.
Well, they announced Stars.
Yeah, no, they announced the one that's going to be on Switch, and it's going to be like a real...
Yeah, they said they're working on a Pokemon title on the Switch.
Yeah. It's not going to be that Poketron.
They announced...
No. It's just probably not going to be done for like 2 years.
It was funny, actually, because they only announced... When they announced it, it was like a guy sitting at a desk. He's like, dude, it's coming, but you just have to give me some... You have to give me some time.
I got this Pokemon on my desk.
Yeah.
And look, I can't show you what I'm working on, but I'm writing stuff now. And it's like... Great, whatever.
That's asshole.
Yeah, that's how far in advance it is. It's like step one.
It was though. It was just a guy chilling on a desk, telling you, "We're making shit."
Speaking of step one, like, how did you go from like being a private collector to doing all this?
To make it into a business?
Or just starting to sell stuff. Because I mean, personally, when I collect something, it's really hard for me to sell something off because I'm like. It's a piece of my collection.
I started getting my idea of having my own business. Then I was like, okay, that's cool. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So, like, I read about and did a lot of research, and if you make business your passion, you always excel higher than any competition you ever will in that field. So that's where I chose. Like, what do I love? Video games. Okay, cool. So like that was in the era where like no one was really picking up stuff. Stuff was at swap meets for like dirt cheap, and I was just picking it up, hopefully would catch on, because there was a moment I couldn't sell a Nintendo 64 for $19.99, so it's like really? There was a lot of like trusted and believing in the market, thinking that this is going to be something that people are going to want when they're older.
Yeah.
So I just kept building it up.
That's insane to think about because it's so big now. Mm-hmm. Like that at one point you actually like.
Honestly, I was alone when we started. I think you guys were the hardcores in that time period. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys were the regulars.
I guarantee you, man. I would say probably close to 80% of my collection was bought from you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what I didn't already have.
Yeah.
That was commonplace. I would come to you and be like, dude, like, what's a rare game? You'd be like, DuckTales 2. It's real hard to find.
I remember that.
And I was like, okay. It's like,
I remember convincing you to buy that for $40.
I mean, it's still like, I know it's
well, because it's like a
now,
$60, $70 game now, right?
No, try 200 or so.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really,
like 170, 220.
Oh my god!
And even when I was doing that research project for G4, when it was the Christian games. Like, I came to him and was like, give me some good Christian games. He gave me Super Noah's Ark 3D.
Oh, yeah. I remember
and
that.
He gave it to me, but he bought it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, these are, like, super rare. And even now, it's like a conversation piece. But, like...
I think that's on PS4. Did I tell you that earlier?
Yeah, I think you did tell
Super
me.
Noah's Ark is on PS4, isn't it?
What?
I think... I don't know where I was. I saw it. It might be Steam, actually. But I saw it somewhere. I was like, why would they bother pouring this like onto something else? I just thought that was weird.
Because it's a Doom engine?
Yeah, I guess so. I had another question for you, though. It's like, so when you started just collecting without buying, did you buy duplicates still?
No, I was just collecting solely for myself until like 98. And then I started just collecting stuff because I thought it was a shame it was going for like $2.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd save it.
Sense.
And then
was it that
as
recent?
a business, I started thinking in 2003 and 4.
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, now it's time to load up on stuff. And I would just buy up stuff. But I really didn't quit my full-time job until 2008.
Okay.
But that's when this company was starting to really take off. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
And then that freed up my wife to kind of pursue her career.
That's
so
cool.
It was kind of like, okay, let's do this. And it's working out, you know?
Yeah.
No, I mean, 2 successful stores.
My wife has a master's degree, and she's doing great in her career. So it's like, it worked out pretty well.
That's nice.
But it's just turning into a passion. I pull ridiculous hours on a daily basis in this company, and it's great. It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah,
I'll go home and I'll still work on stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just like, this is awesome.
It was funny because I told Ernie the other day. It's like when I saw you at the arcade, I was like, I didn't even think I would see him because I've been to his stores multiple times, and they're just like, he's not here. He's off doing something else, or like. Or
Probably off collecting.
Yeah, or like Steven's off at some convention today, and like I'm like, holy shit, this guy's just like, he's just off everywhere working different things, and I didn't know, like
a lot of R&D lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you actually make the leap from so you started selling? Did you sell like on an eBay store?
I had an eBay store in 2004 or 5, and then in 2006 it started doing well, and then but during that time, it was like the Wild West, eBay. It wasn't really regulated.
Okay.
In 2008 is when I started my Frankenstein collectible show booth, and I just had a table.
Yeah, I remember.
One table.
So how was like
you had like a display case?
So that was like my first physical thing, and
what was the rent back then? Because I've heard what the rent is now, and like just so I know, because
$50 a day.
A day.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
So each day that you're there, or each day that your stuff is there.
Each day. So $50 a Wednesday and $50 a Saturday, so $100 a week.
Okay,
that's what it was back then. That's just for a table space, one table.
And that was back when you took everything home with you and brought it back, or was
no?
I
left it there.
You left it there.
I felt it. For some reason, I always felt safe that my stuff wouldn't be messed with. In the past, I heard a lot of horror stories of like the owners stealing stuff.
The owners, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I guess that was behind them then. But I never worried about that. Because that wasn't really... I would bring new inventory daily. Like, I would sell like 60% of what I brought. Leave that there, come back, bring another batch. So that's how I kind of...
So you make your rent no problem.
Oh, yeah. That was ridiculous. My first day, I cleared like $2,000.
Jeez.
Really?
Nice. Oh, yeah.
A Wednesday or a Saturday?
My first day was a Saturday.
Nice.
But that was my first day.
Saturday
I was like nervous, had everything all cleaned up and priced. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
We're doing this. This is happening.
Yeah.
So and it just blew up from then. I was able to buy more space there, grow the store. And then it plateaued for a while because of the craziness that happens at Frankenstein. And I was like, the people that run this place could actually just close me down just because they have a bad day.
Okay.
And I hated just having 2 days. I hated thinking of having a brick and mortar store because I have to work here every day.
Yeah.
But I was so wrong. I should have opened up a store years ago. Yeah. Years and years ago.
It's a lot nicer.
I was just
own everything basically.
Totally,
well,
yeah.
No, I mean, I understand. I totally, like, not even having any kind of experience, I do understand what it is to open a brick and mortar store because, like, the location we're at now, Super Video Game Bros, I don't know how much foot traffic you have here, but at Frankenstein's, you have, like, a constant stream of people just walking by.
Right.
And just from being, like, a person that gets that to do in a brick and mortar store where people don't walk around much unless you're near a school or something.
Yeah.
I can see why it was so scary.
Yeah, absolutely. But this was, like, opened up as a concept to help me focus more, to help me just grow the business. And that's why you saw Lost Levels open up right away, and you saw me do my own shows and stuff. So it's been
I think your reputation has a lot to do with the successfulness of the store because
absolutely.
Whenever, like, not to stroke your ego or anything, but, like, anytime we really wanted a game and we weren't just, like, it wasn't just on a whim or something, like we saw it and we bought it or whatever, but it was one of these things where, like, you know what, I really want to buy this specific game. I always knew I could come to your store and I get a fair price for it, and you wouldn't BS us a lot for all these kind of different peripherals or anything like that. And for most part, like, from the time I remember I wanted a Virtual Boy, and you're like, why?
Yeah. First of all, why?
First of all, why? And he's like, because you're never going to play it. And I was like, well, no, it's... And then I was like, but you know why I want to collect it. He's like, yeah, okay. And you set me up with a good price for it and got me, like, 3 games for it, even though you knew I was never going to play it.
You have a lot of games for it, actually.
I have 4.
Okay.
4. But the one that's, like, the best one, which is Teleroll Boxer, it's like... I'm never going to
I heard that Wario game was pretty good, actually, on there.
Yeah. It's a Wario game. But it's like the Teleroll Boxer, you can actually box with, like... You're actually boxing and it feels like a 3D game.
Well, Virtual Boy is unpopular. What would you say is the most popular thing? Like, let's say you sell this every week that you bring it. What's the most popular item in the store?
That just lights out solves all the time?
Yeah.
Anything Nintendo cartridge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would say it's
equal. Is that still the king?
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm afraid to make posts about it. I sometimes I don't. I just put it on the shelves, so it sells. But if I make posts about certain things I get, it's all gone. I mean, I know that's a concept of business, but we never want to open the empty store because we want to gather new customers.
Yeah.
So right now it's a struggle of the supply and demand. Supply is definitely really low right now. Demand is really high right now. So
I remember there was times where me and Ernie would get to Frankenstein's late, and you would be like, "Dude, I had that this morning and it sold out," or like,
and your shelves started to become lighter and lighter because, I mean, this was a problem with me, but it was like parking situation at Frank's was always a big issue, but then lately it got super bad.
It's really bad, and the fact that I opened this up, customers that would visit me once every 2 months visit me like once a week.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah.
like the frequency of that, yes, dude. And
That's
they said
pretty
the only reason why they came to the Frankenstein's is because of my store, and the only reason why they didn't want to come because they want to deal with the traffic.
Yeah,
parking.
It is a pain in the ass.
We would show up like when we first started going there, and I think the first what was the year we started showing up there? Like it was early 2000s.
It was like 2001 or something. Yeah.
It was definitely like the first years of college. We would show up.
Whenever Yu-Gi-Oh came out, when did that come out? We went to go buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards there. I remember that.
And I remember we would show up like at 8:30 before anything even opened, but they would already have the doors open for people to set up.
Yeah.
We'd walk around there, no problem parking. Everything was great, and you would have all these games.
Yeah.
But then when we started showing up at like 3 after we had lunch and everything, we'd show up and you're just like, dude,
it's
like,
all
I'm just
gone.
Gonna close because like all my stuff is gone. Like you'd sell out completely, and most of it was. You're right. Like your NES cartridges would be the first ones to go. It was always all that.
Because all that we had to like clean and prepare, and it takes time to get it ready to put it out.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Huh?
So. Yeah, that was the other thing is you always kept your like anything you were gonna sell, you would never just sell it as you got it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. I do remember like I bought one of the first NES cartridges we got from him. We just put it in and it worked, and I was like, wow, I've never seen that. I was like, I've never seen a game just work without like putting it under your shirt or some shit and like.
Yeah, it was such a concept for us. We were like the only company that did that at the time.
Yeah,
that's why I felt like we kind of hurt ourselves a little bit by not opening up that brick and mortar store right away.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I did because out of the Wild West over there, it worked out, and I'm glad I did.
Well, like I said, it was definitely your reputation that helped. Like that is what brought you along because. Like he was saying, every game that we bought is like, oh, you want a game? Let's get it from Steve because it'll work.
Yeah.
and he'll help us fix it and blah 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 if we need to.
It's a small concept. We test our shit.
Yeah,
it works. We sell it. It doesn't. It's parts.
Believe it or not, like I mean, you were there. You know that like a lot of people didn't give a crap. They're like, I got this from a customer. Here it's as is. Here you go.
Because they don't know how to grow a business.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to teach them.
And it's not surprising that they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
Because most of them were just like literally, it was almost garage sale style tables.
Yeah.
And they were just gone after a while.
They're there for the money. I'm there for the passion and to collect people. Like everybody I've hired, it's on my team for years. It's a customer that I've met.
Yeah.
Every single one of the people I know are good friends. They're just like customers that I met. So it's like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Just doing this like in a public form since 2008. Yeah. So it's been interesting.
I mean, and then so you got this store and the Lost Levels store, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what these feel like, they're both retro game stores, but they have two very different feelings.
Yes, they do.
Like, what was the concept with this one and that one?
Transitioning for the next generation, because as much as I love having retro gaming, this stuff's going to be gone and not as easy to be inside your store.
Okay.
So we're really just limiting myself and my income at this point. So now we're moving to the entertainment business where we could provide an arcade, which the arcade does amazing, but also provide pop culture merchandise. Like you'll see like that stuff over there.
Yeah.
But actually, like I was going to say, this stuff is more prominent in Lost Levels.
It is.
Like I feel like that's more here.
Because that's like a test to see where the market's going as far as like, are we just going to be a pop culture store and have toys and stuff and we'll still do great? Kind of a test because there's other things I want to do. I'm just kind of seeing where things go. But if I do end up opening up other locations, it will be more of a pop culture arcade, and this will be more of the arcade. More of the hardcore video game store, because all the inventory and all the trade-ins will just come to here.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
So this is where like repairs and stuff would happen. Like if you offer that kind of stuff.
For this store, right now, Lost Levels has their own inventory, their own buybacks, and right now they're doing
You don't share the inventory across both of them.
Nope. Whatever each one get, they keep. Because I'm like kind of doing a test. And right now we have no problem buying stuff. People come in all the time trading things in over there. So that's good. It's a good sign. So, but we'll see how long it goes. Because as soon as you put stuff out, it's gone. So, but that's not good. That's not really good for business. Like it is, but it isn't. Because you can't control your supply. If you can't control your supply, it's kind of a problem.
No, I get you, because somebody might come in and say, this guy never has anything, but it's the case is just you sell out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I understand that.
If I had nothing, I would be out of business. Because I couldn't pay my bills.
Yeah, it's just, and I understand because it's not like a traditional business where you can just keep ordering from your distributor.
No.
There's
I wish.
a finite amount of everything that's out there.
Yeah.
And you it's not like that you're reliant, but it's more of a, you have to see how much it fluctuates out.
Mm-hmm. So we got to deal with a lot of the new and a lot of the pop culture stuff to make it work.
Right.
So, but that's why we incorporated an arcade in there to kind of see how the arcade does. Because downtown Fullerton is an amazing location.
It really is, especially on
lucky.
that street too, because you're right on that main street.
I love too how you can walk all the way through your store. I love that. Yeah. That's like one of my favorite parts.
The reason that street is so, I think, popular is not only do you have Cal State Fullerton, it's State College right down the street, but you also have Fullerton College right there. And for me, I visit that street a lot for two reasons. There was a Wahoo's there.
Okay.
And that place was open until like all hours of the night, so we would go there and eat like after animating. Or
there's a lot of places down there that are like open really late, and that's just a place where people hang out. It's a bustling street scene all the time.
And there's a FedEx Kinko's that's open 24 hours a day.
There you go.
So that's where I would go to do my project. It's like the printer's not working, gotta drive down to the Kinko's. So that place is like foot traffic is amazing there.
And we get a lot of visitors from all over, different countries, and it's very like, wow. When people are like, "I seen you online, I follow you, and I'm here," and it's like, wow, that's cool. That's man. Cool. Yeah. We're like 4 miles away from Disneyland, so people that go to Disney, they have us as one of the marks to visit.
Oh, really?
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's when I saw Lost Levels. I think I showed, like, I took a picture and I sent it to you. It was like, you're on this like brochure.
Yeah, I saw that
was
too.
Really, really crazy too.
So that's a brand that we want to work with and grow. As far as what is it going to do in the future, we kind of have to see where the market is, because I would love to have some kind of restaurant or some kind of thing that I'm working on. But mainly entertainment, because people always got to eat and be entertained.
Restaurant with like what are you saying, like a Dave and Buster's kind of thing, or you just restaurant on its own?
Like pizza, keep it like.
He wants to open his own Showbiz Pizza.
Okay.
Full circle.
That would be insane, man. Yeah.
Buy the name out and everything.
I
want to grow a Lost Levels brand.
Okay.
And Super Video Game Bros is really just becoming the corporation, if you will.
Yeah.
Because all the other businesses I'm opening with different names.
Right.
So. That's
I mean,
huge.
I do understand the concept that you're doing with Lost Levels because it feels almost like. I mean, I obviously get the reference to the Lost Levels Super Mario Brothers All-Star game.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that reference, but I mean, symbolically, tell me if I'm anywhere close, but symbolically, it's almost like this part of your childhood that you thought maybe had been gone. You come back and revisit it.
Yeah.
No, actually, you are completely
that's
wrong.
What I see, because you have the arcade pinball machine.
It's whatever you want to call it.
There you go.
So how Lost Levels, it's not as clever as one might think. Because
Okay.
Lost Levels has no correlation with any of that, but it's connected with a lot of it.
Okay.
But Lost Levels is a name of a company that I made years ago. Mm-hmm. Probably the same time I ran SVGB. I just saved the name, put it aside, and waited on it. Lost Levels is the name of my eBay.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There
is
you
it
go.
really?
It's intended to be like you said, a little bit like Lost Levels, like lost merchandise or unknown merchandise that people in the stores don't see. They can
Right.
sell on eBay. More of a secret account, right?
Right.
We had a hard time trying to get like an arcade for a while.
Yeah.
And we tried in downtown Fullerton, and we got denied because it's just like, oh, arcade, you want to open arcade? It's like, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't believe in you. So we started getting professional. I made like a little fake logo with everything too, but it looked really rad. So I took it to an artist to get done, and it came back. And I was like, okay, this looks cool. Let's go with this.
Nice.
And as soon as we went with that, instead of Super Video Game Bros, people took us more serious, and we were able to pick our location.
That's awesome.
So it was like, okay. And I thought like that logo and that name is more attractive and more like it could be something that could grow. As Super Video Game Bros kind of like alienates a lot of people. It feels like it's a club. It feels like it's something. So I kind of realized that out of my years of running that business.
You know what's weird too is like I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but maybe because you didn't have arcade in the name. Because I know I've talked with other owners of arcades and they say they don't like certain plazas and stuff will just say we don't want an arcade here. You guys bring like the wrong kind of crowd here.
Well, they know we have an arcade because we have the licenses, the
Right, yeah,
permits,
yeah.
we have the used video game licenses and all that stuff. I don't think
Wait,
it's
you have
that.
to have a license for used video games?
Yeah, to buy and sell, yeah. You have to have a license to sell, to resell used merchandise.
Oh, okay.
What? So, wait, is it along the same lines as like opening bus savers or a secondhand store?
No,
it a
it's more like
different license?
a pawn shop.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
that makes
because
sense.
the stuff that we buy, we can't sell for 60 days.
Gotcha,
Because
okay.
it's something stolen. The cops can come like, oh, this is the collection that was stolen from so-and-so, you know?
Oh, that's great.
Which
I
has
didn't
never
know.
been an issue, but
Right.
it's just something that we follow.
That makes sense. So, yeah, the pawn shop, that
At the end of the day, all they care, if you pay your taxes and you pay your permits, they love you.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
you take care of your rent and your landlord, they let you do whatever you want.
Nice.
Well, that's great.
So our landlord loves us, and we're happy
I mean,
over there.
The only reason I was like the arcade is such an anomaly is because both Steven and I used to go to the one up in our old hangout,
Mm-hmm.
which was Arcade Infinity.
Yeah, there was one
Closed
called
that
Arcade
down.
Infinity. There was one called Super Arcade, and I just
They just start closing them all down.
Yeah, they had said something like they stay open too late, and there's always people smoking cigarettes outside, and they didn't want that in their plazas.
Right. So this only works because it's an office and a shop. Lost Levels only works because it's an arcade and a shop.
I
So
see.
nowadays you have to think multiple incomes. How am I going to get this? How am I going
see.
to work this
Yeah.
out?
Right.
So the concept of this is we do a lot of online sales. So online sales, we could lock the doors every day and work from the office and have online sales and still survive.
Really?
But the
Wow.
fact that we open it up to the public, it helps. It gives it a different, more income and more of a store feel.
Makes
But
sense.
you have to be able to rely on one. Like the arcade could run as an arcade by itself, right?
Right.
But in order to grow, we have to have merchandising or a shop too. So
Gotcha.
you have to do a dual in this time of age, because just running an arcade like Arcade Infinity, I loved it to death. But sometimes that's just not enough.
Yeah. I
Bills go
understand.
up. Landlord raises the rent.
Yeah, they would say the electric bills on these things are fucking insane. So like,
Just going back to the arcade thing, because it's a part of me that just has this nostalgia factor that just I won't let go, because one of the first arcades I ever visited blew me away as a little kid because I was like 6. And there used to be a mall near my house. It was called the Santa Fe Springs Mall. It was right next to us, and it had this arcade called Atari 1982. Or sorry, it was just called 1982, and it just had all these different machines and games. It was the first time I saw Street Fighter and everything. It was such a vibrant place, and it was such a unique. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just this unique part of
atmosphere.
person's. No, it's just like as you grow up, you finally get to play games with other people, but like you're physically there with people.
Yeah.
Kind of like going to a tournament or anything.
Yeah, it's a social place.
Yeah, and when I got to revisit it as an adult, I was like, oh my gosh, these are people that like they had the same experience as me growing up, but now I've seen them like fade away. I think the only arcades that I know of personally is the one in Pasadena. I think it's called Neon Lights, which is great, but to be honest, like the I don't know, they're lacking something. I can't put my finger on it. I think maybe a selection of games or whatever.
I think because they charge you $10 an hour.
Maybe it's that too.
And you're probably not putting quarters in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But they're cool. I love them. I love their shop and everything. But I kind of felt that something was missing too.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're doing successful. They're about to open up another location.
Oh.
So
I mean, that's great because I want to hear...
That other one in LA, what's it called? 82?
Yeah, it's like the arcade.
It's like they just have booze, and I'm like, I guess that works. That makes sense.
That's remember when I left, when I finally left Esquire Network, because that's when we had my going away party.
Right.
And they have a food truck. Well, they have a food truck, so that's how they get past the food license thing. Because if they just have it parked near them, they don't have to have a food license.
Oh, okay. Sneaky.
But they do have the liquor, which is, you know, it's true. They have their arcade machines with like beer cozies and everything next to it. They go the whole route, which is great to see. But I mean, I hope it stays there because it seems like it's happening.
Yeah, it'll stay there. I mean, I've had the idea of a barcade since 2009 before anybody has done it here, and I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't financially. You know, I just had the idea.
Liquor licenses are expensive.
Oh, everything is, and just the know-how, knowledge. I just didn't have any of that, so it wasn't a possibility. And I seen everybody kind of open it up and be successful. It's like you know, it's like okay, you know,
only if you have money.
Missed opportunity
there, yeah. But like having to deal with drunk people. I mean,
well, that's why you hire. That's why you hire security.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is like we were talking. We went there and no one knew how to fucking play Street Fighter there. I was sitting there for like an hour and a half, and everyone was like, "Man, this guy knows all the codes and stuff." And I was like,
Plus,
"Okay."
they were mostly drunks.
Yeah, I was like, it's a casual environment.
I was like, I think it's just more. You know,
that's why I chose
casual.
Lost Levels to be a storecade because I wanted to test that out, and I actually it's very rewarding because I see families and kids come in.
Yeah,
I brought my kid down there.
Students like come in and then like they thank me because they wanted to experience an arcade.
Yeah,
they thought they never would because you know it's just how things are.
Yeah.
So and then old people come and people our age come and it's just like.
Are we the old people?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
no,
but like no old people come. I just old guys that come and play in Asteroids and all that stuff.
You know what's crazy is the
Golden Age people.
The one anomaly always, or not anomaly, but the one standout at 82, which I thought kind of encompassed.
That'd be a cool name for an arcade.
What?
Anomaly.
There you go.
That's you know what? I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna cut this out. Nobody steal that.
TM trademark.
Yeah.
They have the tapper machine there.
Yeah.
And it has the real tap.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it has the Budweiser program still in there because, like, somebody told me the story while I was there. Like, oh, Tapper was originally it was just a marketing thing.
Yeah.
It was to sell beer.
Right.
So like the game was like, hey, drink Budweiser. Here's a fun game where you throw out beer and everything. So like it has a Budweiser tap that you pull to serve. And it also has like an ad, because when I was a kid, it was always winners don't use drugs, and then it would go into the game, right? But this has a thing that says drink America's beer or whatever
nice.
in front of it.
Drink and drive.
Yeah. But it's just such a cool thing to see. It's like I'm now experiencing what people did back then.
Yeah.
And it's full.
There's a root beer version of that too that I want.
Oh, really?
What? Are you
That's
serious?
cool.
AMW or just like generic?
I don't know. I just think it says root beer.
I think it's cool that like there's so much of stuff like that exists, and you would never know about it unless you actually went out and looked for it. Like, we went to that Pinball Hall of Fame in Vegas. Do you remember that? And
oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, that was my bachelor party, which, of course, I would do that on my bachelor party.
Yeah, it was like they had a paperboy machine that had like the handlebars on it, and I didn't even know that existed. And it looks really cool. And they also had it was like a Super Nintendo arcade machine, and the controller was like this. It's like a fat version of a Super Nintendo controller, and it was like sticking out of it, and you could use it like a gamepad basically, but it was just molded to the machine. It was insane. It wasn't on, but
no,
it was there, and it's just.
It was great to see that place because it has that Pinball Hall of Fame name of it, but like the place was had such a workshop feel to it.
Yeah.
Because if you went, you've been there then.
Of course, yeah. I was just
there. You go
there.
in the back, he's literally working on these all these pinball machines.
Yeah,
he has parts everywhere with like oh, am I supposed to be back here? And he's just working away. He doesn't give a crap.
It's cool.
He's just doing his thing. That place is amazing. If you ever go to Las Vegas, definitely make a stop there.
Yeah, they had Dragon's Lair too, and I love Dragon's Lair. Just because I love Don Bluth's animations and stuff, and it's so cool to see that in a machine. That's a machine you have to like experience in real life.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome, especially because, and not to overuse this word, but around the time that it was out, it was such an anomaly. It's like a full-fledged...
Copyright.
Yeah.
Copyright 2017. So, like, speaking of anomalies, if you just look around Steve's store, one of the things that catches your eye is he has like 3 TVs behind his counter. One of them is like that Nintendo TV combo. That game.
The Sharp and
yeah.
Oh, I just realized that's what that was. I saw a video on that recently.
Dude.
Yeah.
See, it's that kind of stuff that I love to see. Because that is such a freaking weird...
It's insane.
It's such a weird thing that Nintendo did where they partnered with Sharp to make, hey, we want to make a TV with a Nintendo in it.
Yeah, it's right here.
Holy shit,
Like,
that's super rare, dude.
I know.
The remote, I heard it goes for like so much fucking money.
Yeah, I know.
That is really cool, dude.
One of the
I'm gonna cut like all this out because I'm just gushing over this shit. That is super cool though, man.
And I don't know if you have any of these cards. I was actually going to ask you about it. Was for a brief minute while Nintendo was fighting with Blockbuster about renting games, Sega was like, you know what? Let's give them games that you can, like cartridges where you can download games.
To rewrite?
Yeah,
rewritable cartridges.
That's
and they
cool.
were doing that stuff in Japan, and Sega was trying to make it work here with Blockbuster because that was one of the things that Sega did well in the 90s. Is they were like, well, Nintendo doesn't want to do it, we'll do it. Screw it. You want to rent our games? Sure, great. Let's do that.
Because Nintendo had the disc drive, right? Where they had essentially it was the same thing. You could rewrite, you could download
but
games.
Not here.
It was only in Japan.
Here in America, they were all about fighting Blockbuster. So there's a lot of like, and you know what? This is one thing that I think you have, and I think you might have had it at the store at one point. But when I was at Blockbuster, or when I was working at Blockbuster, Pokemon Snap came out, and they had that printer.
Oh yeah.
Do you have that?
No.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. Like Steve probably has one of those.
Is that just something you're just not interested in at all? Or
I'm not a big Pokemon fan, and I'm not a big Nintendo 64 fan.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. The only thing I love for 64 is the Mario parties, Mario Kart.
I love Mario 64.
Zelda.
I've always said like it's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Ocarina or Majora's Mask?
Ocarina.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not going to say anything, Steve?
I've already said that I love Majora's Mask. I think it's the greatest game of all time. But.
Oh no.
So we got to wrap this up. But final thoughts, Ernie or Steven? Any final thoughts on all this conversation we just had? Retro gaming in general, I guess.
Well, I mean, the market's been pretty awesome. Everything's been growing. But I would.
You told me, it's like a seller's market right now, right? Or
it's a seller's market, but one thing you got to keep in mind is, please play these games.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of seeing rows and rows of games on shelf for status. And I know when you guys came in, you guys always bought stuff to play it. Always. And that's kind of going away. It's more like, oh, this is what this is worth, and this is what it is. It's like, have you played it? Play it. You know, this is what they're for. Yeah. You know, this is not. If you want to invest in something, stock market.
Yeah.
You know, right now, Google has good stock, and gas. If you want to get into that, you can sell the collection to me, and I'll buy it, and you can go get stock. But what's turning into is more status. Like, look what I have, more than like,
especially in video games, because at one point I remember, like, I'm not gonna name names, but I know people that were really excited for like Hyrule Warriors, and I'm like, oh, cool, you like Zelda? Have you ever played Link to the Past? And they're like, no. Yeah. Okay, so you love Zelda, but you've never played like the probably the best one in the series or something. Okay, I mean whatever. It becomes like a status.
It's cool
thing,
to be a nerd.
Yeah,
it's cool to be a nerd, and I get that. I love that you're trying to get into it, and fine, you haven't got to that game yet. I understand. But if you own it, then you should have played it already.
Yeah.
That's my thing. If you don't own it yet, you haven't played it yet. Cool. Now everybody could get everything to. I haven't played Portal. I haven't played certain games that people have played and loved. I haven't played, and so I can't really speak of that either. But play it.
Yeah.
And the whole reason why I'm doing these shows is so people could be exposed and play these things.
Yeah.
And the arcade is one of that faction.
Oh, so, yeah. So you're actually doing a Retro City Festival. That's it's on the 20th and the 21st of January 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll put the information for that down below too, so you guys can check that out. It's another retro gaming expo. It's
just a celebration of the history of video gaming.
Cool. All right, that sounds good.
And the last thing I'll say is it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because like when we were reminiscing with Steve here, when I was in college, this stuff was coming back and more was available. And it was one of the times where you could buy up, and which is where most of my collection came from. But now that everything's kind of out there and people are snatching it up for, I guess, status, like you're saying, it's interesting to see what'll come next. Because, you know, the reason these things are rare is because back in the day we got them and they were toys to us. You know, games were toys. But now with so many like collector's edition and, you know, every major thing has a collector's edition, regular edition, blah,
status
blah.
symbol.
Yeah, and so I wonder if the nostalgia thing will persist with these newer systems.
Who knows?
I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, who knows?
You know.
Will it hold up? That's the question.
Well, I always know when the Radio Tunes podcast is wrapping up because you go back into your DJ.
Yeah.
Everybody, here we go.
Okay. But okay. Well, that does it for this week, guys.
I want to thank Steve for making the time for us. I know.
Thanks for coming out and being on the show, man.
Hey,
it's really cool,
man.
Yeah. So put that info down below, and we'll see you next time, guys.
See you guys.